Greetings. Thank you for joining me. My name is Johnny McElhearn. This is In the Metal, and this week we are going to take a look at one of the big events in the auction calendar, which took place over the weekend in Geneva. It was the Phillips Geneva Watch Auction XXIII 23, and it was a record-breaking event with over 240 lots, 95% or 99.5% sales, and records set with the turnover. We will come to that in a minute. And but to help me go through this with you, I am going straight over to Brooklyn to Folk Restaurant, where I hope to find Jayesh Kumar. Greetings.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you, Johnny. You're looking as sharp as always.
You can always put paint on an old building, Jay, and you know it's.
What can I say? Same story here too, my friend.
But
I always with my glasses.
Yes. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you too. How are things going? How are things in New York?
New York has been, the weather has been really crazy and good. At least it's getting better. That said, I heard about the groundbreaking results of the auction at in Geneva. Was it?
The Geneva Watch Auction XXIII, Geneva Watch Auction 23, hosted by Phillips in association with Bacs and Russo. And before we go much further, I'd like to give them a little credit for allowing us having access to images. And so we're hopefully they'll be put to good use. But I wanted to say thank you to Phillips in association with Bacs and Russo for use of your images. And yes, a record-breaking sale. The new turnover, I have the figures here beside me, Jay. They achieved in Swiss francs, 74,846,9995, or rounded up, including commissions, it was 78 million Swiss francs over a 2-day auction.
That's $90 million?
It's actually 100 million whenever you include the commissions. And so, it was 96.2 million net, and over 100. The first time we've gone over 100 million in total, including commissions. So, man, absolutely monumental. The auction houses are on fire at the minute. They're unpredictable. They are the scene of a lot of really dramatic bidding wars, and we're going to have a look at some of those. Obviously, the lot this week, or the auctions this weekend, had 245 lots. I think 244 sold, and so a very successful event.
I mean, the one which was not sold. Which was the one which wasn't sold?
How do you expect me to know that? It was a Rolex Mill Sub, actually, right? So I was curious myself.
That is so funny. That's so funny. It's so funny.
So I'm glad that folks, that was not rehearsed. That was so it was a Rolex Mill Sub, and I don't know the full spec on it, but it was it was unusual in that it was the odd one out. That it was a nice looking piece too, I have to say. But anyway, that was the one that didn't sell. But everything else went, and
everything else went. It's crazy.
It is absolutely.
Let's start.
What I decided and what we thought we would do, Jay, was to take a selection of 10 or 12 pieces out of the whole auction.
Lots,
the kind of pieces that are, have that resonate with ourselves, being either being independent or just pure for the love of what they actually are. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to split the report into two episodes because we've got Dan Spitz will be joining me for a part 2, and we're going to look at some of the historic pocket watches. And
Oh, that's cool.
What these people were doing 100, 200 years ago.
Years ago.
It just
crazy.
It made me recognize, made me realize this is really what speaks to me about watchmaking, because it is the fact that these people were able to create these masterpieces in little more than wooden cabins with only daylight and or a naked flame at night for illumination. No electricity, no lathes, no drilling, no anything.
Nothing. They had used. They had
and
used
some of the pieces,
handmade.
But this is why. So today, what we're going to look at, Jay, is some of the pieces from the contemporary side of that, so from the 20th century onwards. And so there was a number of pieces that caught my eye. I'm going to start off with one that you would know, Rexhepi, and the fabulous Acrivia AK06. This means something to me because I can remember Rexhep in Basel. I can remember Rexhep in London, in the Sochi Gallery, in the at Salon QP, and you could have spoken to him for half an hour. I did, and it's where I first made his acquaintance. Actually, was in London, and this beautiful piece. I was told a story recently that it took nearly 3 years for Rexhep to sell his first piece. This piece was lot number 36. The estimate placed it between 350 and 700,000 Swiss francs. Any idea what it went for, James?
I do know that went for a crazy $3 million, which I am shocked about. It is insane. I mean, estimate and the sales, it's like insane. I can imagine how crazy that must have been.
It was insane, but it was absolutely incredible to see it. And but it's a vindication. It just shows you the revolution in independent watchmaking, how far it has come. And so for Rexhep, this magnificent piece, that is, and so it was 3 million Swiss francs. I found a lot of the estimates were not too far off the mark, but there were a few that made your eyes pop, and these are the ones that really involved these intense bidding wars that make the auctions so newsworthy, so reportable, that give us a good opportunity to take a look at it. But so that was the first one that really caught my eye, and so that was, as I said, it was the AK06. Rexhep created it in around 2018, and it was presented just in stainless steel, and it was an amazing piece. So that was the first one. Was there anything that caught your eye?
I mean, I am a guy who's got simple taste. I saw the Daniel Roth. I mean, the Tourbillon. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. Oh yeah, there you go.
Is this the Two-Face?
Yes, exactly, the Two-Face. A Tourbillon, regulator, Two-Face. It was made in 1989. Can you imagine? 1989.
It was. These were the people who were like, this was literally where Daniel Roth was. The brand was acquired in the mid 2000s by Bulgari, I think.
Yes,
and but prior to that, this was actually made by the watchmaker Daniel Roth.
Yes,
and I have actually sold a few Daniel Roth pieces over the years. Whenever I first got into working with watches online, I had the good fortune to sell not many, 2 or 3 pieces of Daniel Roth. And coming from where I come from, I was not really familiar with names like this previously, and these were the pieces that really opened my eyes to there's a whole other world going on that I knew nothing about. I was familiar with the brands who were advertising in the likes of the Sunday paper supplements, maybe Time magazine or National Geographic or things like that there, or some of the other magazines that I would have read at the time. And but Daniel Roth, so I'd never heard of Daniel Roth until I was introduced to putting it on my site. And I sold 2 or 3 of them. And so this piece, which was, as you correctly say, created in 1989.
Yes.
The estimate between 80 and 160,000 Swiss francs.
Yes.
And it went, Jay, for 241,000.
Above the estimate.
It went absolutely high above the estimate, but it was actually one of the pieces where it didn't blow the estimate out of the water. It was
but still above estimate. And look at the piece. It was that 36, 36, 38.
Now you've got me.
I think like a 36.
Yeah, 38 length and 35 millimeter width.
Yeah, so, because I remember when he made his watches, I also saw one of his first watches, which was a guest of mine was wearing it over here. And it was a 35, 36 mm. And I was like, wow, this is really small. And he was telling me that is one of the craziest watches he has, because he did everything with it. He went fishing, he did this, he did that. And it's still running perfectly. And now you see what I mean? That exactly is what I'm talking about. What's
and this is the underside of it. So you've got your pointer date and your reserve de marche indication on this.
Yes.
What absolutely. But it's funny you say your friend doing everything with it, because it's, if ever there was a dress watch, your Daniel Roth is epitomizes a dress watch. It is classy. Absolutely. It is sophisticated. It is very reserved, and but something, isn't it better that a watch gets worn and gets used? And so it's a nice acquisition by your friend, and and also I think a nice purchase too at the auction with 241,000 Swiss francs.
Yes.
So then there was there is an auction favorite, isn't there? Like, in the independent world, if you mention the name F.P. Journe,
oh yeah, of course,
you need to have deep pockets. And
I mean, look at that. It's a masterpiece. It's art. It's nothing less than an art piece over there.
Chronomètre à résonance, souscription number 18, and is one of, this is from the year 2000.
Yes.
When F.P. Journe, he established his atelier, his brand, only the year before, only in 1999. So this is the subscription. This was the getting the mark up and running, and and again, I can remember F.P. Journe pieces going back into those early 2000s. Yes, they were dramatic to look at, and they were the aesthetics very, very individual, very, very distinctive. You will not confuse as an F.P. Journe piece. You'll recognize it at 50 paces in any room. And but this was the chronomètre à résonance souscription number 18. And the estimate on this, which I'm going to be using this as kind of a metric, Jay, because the estimates and the actual price that they're realizing are, in some cases, were well out. The estimate was between 450 and 900,000 Swiss francs.
Yeah.
This one went. Are you familiar? Yes.
I don't want to mention it, but you should say that it's crazy. Swiss franc.
$4,875,500 Swiss francs. Insane. Absolutely.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at that though. I mean,
Yeah. If
I would buy
if
it for that money if I had that money. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
would you though? Would you? Is there not a point in proceedings where emotion gets, where logic gets cast aside and emotion starts carrying it
Yes, but you
over?
see, isn't this the business though? Isn't that what it is altogether? The emotions are the ones who actually dictate what happens in with these pieces. It has nothing to do with value for money. It has nothing to do with anything. If you are estimating a piece for $800,000 and it's selling for $4,500,000, I mean,
Yeah, 5 million, including commissions.
what
You're
is it?
going to say
It is nothing to do with value add. There is absolutely zero situation where you can say, "Hey, I'm going to sell this for another $10 million." No, that's not what it's all about. It's about the person who has seen it and who wants it and who wants to keep it and he's got the money to buy it. There you go.
absolutely.
Because it's
I
hard.
agree. I agree.
This is what I want because I will never find another one like this anywhere. If it's
There you go.
I'll take it.
There you go. And you won't. And so it's been but F Fisher has just literally every time F Fisher are at auction, and we've got a couple more to look at before we over the course of the next 30 minutes or so. So, but I'm going to take us on to the next one, which is one, Jay, that I think that you had nominated, and that was the lot number 26, which is Audemar's Piguet.
Audemars Piguet. I mean, Audemars Piguet is I mean, look at this piece. It is 1942. He came up with a tourbillon triple calendar moon phase. I mean, what can I tell you about this?
It was absolutely. Was it a tourbillon?
Yes.
Goodness me! And but a piece of just absolute timeless beauty.
Sorry, it's not a tourbillon.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, no, this is the.
This is just a triple date, but with a chronograph. I mean, look at that. This
moon
is not
phase
I'm very sorry, it was my mistake. But the thing, going for 1.1 million Swiss francs.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, what can I tell you about it? It is crazy. And he made what, 5 pieces of this?
Was there 5? Yep, 1 of 5, Jay.
1 of 5.
I'm glad nobody's noticing my eyes diverting to the other tab. We can always edit that out, can't we?
1 of 5. But look at that. I mean, that is a piece of art for me. And this is without the CADs and without all of those, computer-aided technology, what they have now to create different watches. But this is hand designed, mind thought.
Yeah. It's astonishing because there's a real beauty in that mechanical array of components. It's just an absolutely spectacularly beautiful manual winding movement. As you said, 1942.
Yes, 1942.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the times when they were just going through all of the specifications, each meticulously worked. 5 pieces. Think about it, Johnny.
Yeah.
5 pieces exactly the same.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. It's just for I'm going because it's one of my favorite configurations, which is the triple date with moon phase and chronograph. I can take or leave chronograph on that. The triple date with moon phase is, to me, the most desirable movement, but
everybody else came out with it after time. After some time, everybody did it. Mawado had it, and I have a Minerva triple date, which is insane. Myself, which I
Minerva movements.
Yes, but you see, that is what it is. That is one of the most nicest complications what there is with the moon
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one that it resonates with me closest anyway. So it is. So the next one, Jay, we're going to look at involves three of the
most desirable watchmakers.
what are the words I'm looking for here? I should get somebody to write me a script here, But
I mean,
Brevet Français with Philippe Dufour and Michel Boulanger.
Yeah,
And it's called
Dufour and Forcey. I mean, Global Forcey, Philippe Dufour already is like crazy. Philippe Dufour, old mastermind, Global Forcey, the new contemporary, and then you have the Boulanger.
Yeah. And this is the Naissance du Montre. And it is one of 11 pieces. It was actually number 1 of 11. Yes. And the watch was manufactured in 2016. Yeah. I can remember when Naissance du Montre, because this Naissance du Montre, the whole project was to create a complicated piece by hand, completely by hand, in the traditional way and using traditional methods.
Yes.
And a very, very special watch coming to auction. R.L. Bacs weaving his casting his magic over the auction room, and the estimate on it was between 400 and 800,000. It went for double the high estimate, which is 1.6 million. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you see what I mean? These are pieces of art. I mean, when you look at the old masters, in art pieces, how it goes for $50 million, $100 million, and nobody even thinks about those money because emotions are taking over. Because these pieces they will never find anymore anywhere in this world, and that's what it is. You know, look at the tourbillon, which is isn't that Boulanger's craft?
Yeah. Boulanger, I believe, created I think the movement was designed and developed, and the whole concept was created with in collaboration with Grobel Force, with Philippe Dufour. I think it was Michel Boulanger. Actually, was the watchmaker who was responsible for the project, and as I say, going for 1.65 million Swiss francs.
Yes.
Again, sometimes I'm surprised, sometimes I'm not. This was not really a surprise to me. It was fabulous. So the next one was that I wanted to talk to you about was some of you know Bernard Lederer and the prototype of his CIC, the central impulse escapement. Which Bernard Lederer is a master of the escapement.
Yes.
And so he had in the last 5-6 years, he has been working on developing the CIC mechanism, and what he's essentially doing is showing different ways of or employing different solutions to the escapement, and this is using the central impulse chronometer. Yes. And using the central impulse escapement, which if you listen to that watch, it has a very audible tick. That because there's it's got a 10-second constant force remontoire, so you get this every 10 seconds. And
really?
It sounds like nothing else. It's an amazing piece, a really amazing piece. I have had the great pleasure of welcoming Bernard and Eva to the Festival of Time in Ireland here. And
you did? They were there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
and you know them personally. That is such a big honor to
see these pieces in person, and and to bring them to Ireland for people that don't really get the opportunity to see these pieces.
Yeah.
And
Oh, God.
So, but this was the prototype, and again, estimate 60,000 to 120,000 Swiss francs, went for 342,900, and a fantastic
Which
result.
does not surprise me at all.
You know, Bernard Lederer for years and years was kind of. I remember Bernard Lederer, BLU, Bernard Lederer Universe, back in the early to mid 2000s, and the whole scene maybe seemed like it had kind of moved away from him, but he was at the whole time knowing Bernard Lederer. He does not suffer fools, and he was would have been working flat out at developing these incredible concepts that he had in his head. Bernard Lederer is an AHCI watchmaker. We know that the credentials for AHCI membership
Of
are
course.
that you create everything by hand.
Yes.
And but not only that, they're meticulous attention to detail. I have always loved the Lederer kind of design language, and to see the Inverto. And the reason it's called the Inverto, obviously, is because the movement that
It's
he
all
used in the first CIC, he has reversed it. Of course, it's not just as straightforward or as simple as reversing it, because it took
yes.
pretty much a complete ground up rebuild or rethink.
Rebuild. Yes, of course.
What a cool piece.
Oh,
What a cool piece.
what a cool piece that is.
Huh?
This is exactly what it's supposed to be. This is what watchmaking is all about, right? Isn't it? I mean, look at
Oh man, I am. Yeah, we are on the same page there, my man. Absolutely, absolutely. So another young watchmaker that has working. He actually dabbles in. He's got playing a part in another contemporary young brand that are starting up.
Hooray! Oh my
Theo
God.
Offray, Parisian watchmaker, lovely guy, created this beautiful piece, again completely in house, and this is his Offray Paris Giverny prototype blue train,
Yeah.
and his own manual, his in-house caliber 13 lean,
Yeah.
and it's presented in a 36mm stainless steel case, and this had for a prototype was absolutely finished to, as I say, meticulous standard. Let's see if we've got an image of the case back. Yeah, and so and absolutely a superb piece, and so that had again came in with a estimate between 60,000 and 120,000. The hammer spoke, and it was 571,500 at the end of the sale.
What?
Remarkable results for
Are you
these.
kidding me? That is insane.
Hey man,
Is
did
it-
you buy it, Jay? What was?
I mean, what are you talking about? What is going on with this auction world? What's going on with people?
It's insane. And Jay, and let's be honest, like like 571,000, 500,000 plus Swiss francs. You're still only, at the fringes of some of the pricing,
Of course,
that we saw.
But still, what the estimate says and what it sells for, that's what I'm talking about. That is, and it's absolutely amazing. That is surprising for me. It's like insane.
It is quite. You can go back to the Acrivia. That was, literally like between about 80 and 160. It goes for 3 million. Like
$3 million.
It's insane. So it is. But hey, listen, the next one I wanted to talk about.
Just going back to the guy. Doesn't he have something to do with Spaceman, the brand?
Space One.
Sorry.
Theo Offray and Guillaume Lede are the two guys behind this
Space
amazing. They want to bring their watchmaking to the masses, and Space One is this radical, futuristic, retro-futuristic, because it's based on what we assumed space traveler space age design to be back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yes.
And we will definitely talk about Space One.
Yes, we have
very
to.
soon.
Because I think this is what watchmaking is all about. You have this amazing, complicated situation happening, but then you're also looking at something which can be accessible to the normal person.
No doubt. Space One have teamed up with Baltic, which is another young French company. Baltic specialize really in
retro.
In retro style. So old divers and things like that. There,
Yes.
that would be kind of in the design language of Baltic. Well, they have teamed up. They're an unlikely bedfellow, Space One and Baltic, but they teamed up. They got together, they channeled their creative energies, and they have created a piece called The Second Measure. The Second Measure is available, actually.
Is it a jump hour?
It's a jump hour, but it is literally, there is a window of opportunity that opened last Friday and closes this Friday.
Oh, so to buy it?
It will only be available to purchase until Friday of this week, and that is that you get that on the Space One website or through Baltic websites, and absolutely really cool little piece. I don't have images to share at the minute, but you're talking a piece that has jumping hours. It's kind of like a regulateur in that it has individual hours, minutes, and seconds, and it uses sapphire discs over the on the dial. The minutes rotate and the hours jump. And there is
I see. Yeah, I see that. I see
it, but I can't share it because it would take me about a minute to get that lined up.
Let's go.
And we are far too slick for that kind of carry on, man. You won't find that around here, will you? Oh man! So here, Jay, the next one I wanted to show you is it's a watch that you cannot not love, and because it comes from a watchmaker that you can't love. And if I say Kelomar est-il,
I know who it is. Oh, there you go, Kelomar.
This is oh man, the story behind this is this is the Kelomar est-il. It is a delightfully playful take on the upside down masterpiece by the genius who is Ludovic Bayard. And the watch has been created in association with a charity for the, let me see, it's the Haute École des Arts et Design, and it was designed to raise funds for a charity called Paint a Smile. And what Paint a Smile do, they are responsible, or they fund and they enable the painting of murals in children's wards in hospitals. And so it's a very bright and positive and life-affirming exercise. And no better man than Ludovic Bayard to pull this off. This is a stunning watch. We know how the upside down watch works. You and I know. Maybe the people who are watching or listening aren't familiar, but there around the dial there are 12 discs where you would normally have numerals or indexes. There are 12 discs, each one of which rotates at the passing of the hour, the relevant number. So if you're going between 1 and 2, the 1 will jump and the numeral will disappear, and the 2 will flick at the exact same time and come into service. And you'll see that there are no numerals on the Kelomar est-il. He has replaced the numerals with lobsters, and there are 6, which is why the name Omar. And We're looking at a picture of one here at the minute. Can you tell what time it is on that one, Jane?
9:10.
9:10, because the claw has inverted at 9 o'clock,
Yes.
and it's the only one that is out of,
Yes.
so it's, yeah. I love it because, what Ludovic Bayard does is watchmaking that it doesn't have to be serious.
Yes.
And he has this great philosophy about particularly what the philosophy, the thinking behind the upside down, being that the past is behind you cannot change it, the future is ahead of you, you don't know what's coming, the only time is the present. And
that's
so
what changes. That's what changes. Exactly.
Yeah. And so what we're looking at here is the buck that he would have used to assemble the white gold lobster pieces,
Yes,
which we can see there. And it's just it's a piece that it stirs emotions in me to see, because it's so profoundly technical, and yet it is a very playful interpretation of the time display. Yes. Always love Ludovic's watches. Ludovic's this is one that kind of bucked the high estimate trend. It was estimated was between 100 and 200,000. It sold for 152,400. A great piece for someone to have in their collection, and also a great cause to raise funds for. So yes. I was delighted to see that. We're getting into the home straight here, because the next one I wanted to talk about to you was another FP Journe, the Octochronograph Straight Côte de Genève. Yeah. And this was another, the estimate between 150,000 and 300,000. This was the early flyback chronograph by FP Journe, dating back circa 2001, cased in platinum, again with the FP Journe's signature automatic caliber, and 38 millimeters. As I say, estimate 150 to 300,000. I think the auction houses know nowadays. Pick a number, it doesn't matter. This piece sold for $1.715 million.
Oh my God!
Insane, absolutely.
Swiss francs. Sorry, that is what it is, man. I told you, emotions, especially with FP Journe. I remember the time when, I think let's say 15 years ago, there wasn't a lot of people buying FP Journe just because they didn't even know who he was and what he was doing. But then it sort of plummeted. I mean, and then it sort of went straight up. It was like crazy how every collector wanted to have an FP Journe, and the most sold, I think, it's the Elegante, where everybody's got an Elegante, and it's a quartz, right?
Yeah, that's a curious piece, indeed, because it's very clearly, and we don't have an image of the Elegante, but it's got that kind of modern, the contemporary.
Yes, it is. It's like an oval, like a tonneau piece.
Yeah. And but I was just thinking, the people who were buying FP Journe back when he was trying to get his brand off the ground, man, they are
in a good place right now.
They are in a good place, Jay. And that's their retirement looked after.
Crazy.
It actually is a thing that
the Resonance went for $4 million. I mean, really?
Yeah.
The first one, what we talked about,
well, and there's one more to come as well. We're not done yet, and so the next one was another one that you proposed, and it was for an interesting reason. It was the IWC reference 377025, the Grand Complication. Yeah,
this has everything, literally everything. You're looking at the perpetual calendar, you're looking at the year, you're looking at the minute repeater, you're looking at the tourbillon, you're looking at everything in here, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure again about the tourbillon, but it certainly is your perpetual calendar, your chronograph, two of the very most complicated
Yes.
functions to do,
Yeah.
and with minute repeater, of course, and a beautiful piece. Why did you select this piece, Jay?
What do you say?
Why did you nominate this?
So let me tell you about my love for IWC. I first got a double chronograph of IWC. It was in, I think, 1994.
Wow,
All right. That was the
that's the
first
rocker print.
time I
Yeah,
fell in love with IWC. Then I saw the Spitfire. I saw the Grand, the Big Pilot, which I was going crazy about. The Big Pilot with the, what do you call that? With the all the perpetual calendar also in it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
which was another crazy. And then I saw the Big Pilot with bronze. I mean, they have done so much for watchmaking in their own way, but not like from the Jura or whatever else, from Schaffhausen, which is the German-speaking part of
Sure.
Switzerland. And the way they went up, and for me, this piece actually shows how and what watchmaking is. I mean, look, Patek has come up with something like this. Every brand has come, but the combining the chronograph, perpetual, and minute repeater is something which I've never seen, and for that value, for that money, is insane.
This piece estimated between 30,000 and 60,000 Swiss francs. It sold at 88,900. And I agree with you. I think in comparison to some of the brands, is there a lack of love
Yeah.
for IWC? Is there,
I,
you
I
know,
I I have a strange feeling that it's just because it's not Geneva based. That's why there's not a lot of love. I mean, I'm stupid in a way, but I think when you look at watchmaking, it is all the Val de Joux. You're looking at the places Jura where all the real watchmaking happened, and the French part of it. But you see what I'm talking about? This is not anywhere close to what we're talking about. This is something close to a totally different area of Switzerland, where
yeah.
the crazy watchmaking also happens. You know what I
It's
mean?
an interesting point of view for sure. I can't put my finger on it either. I also own IWC of the GST
Yeah.
Chrono Raptor, which would be an evolution of your piece,
Yes.
and that had the split second module was
Yes.
created by Richard Hebring,
Yes.
and
Hebring. Yes.
yeah,
Exactly. Yes. Richard
and
Hebring.
so there's but then so many of these independent watchmakers that we know and love today actually learned their craft working for the bigger brands. I share your thoughts on IWC. I have a soft spot for them too. I do like them, and I don't understand what if there's a kind of a breakdown in communication in their marketing or whatever they got there. I think they should be stronger. Maybe they're in there exactly where they should be, Jay.
Maybe
I'm
they
not
are
sure.
exactly where they should be. Maybe the
Who
sales.
the hell am I to
Yes,
say it?
yes. I am just not seeing them, in all of these big platforms where things happen. And I also know that Moser has got their factory in Schaffhausen, and
Sure.
but I just don't understand. Maybe I am totally wrong about what they are doing and what's going on, because for Richemont to carry them is a big deal too, right?
For sure. For sure. I don't know. It's brand perception. It's a strange thing. As you said, Moser just down the road, and everything they bring out is
It's
people are
crazy.
falling over themselves to get onto it. I do think it's the way the message is delivered, and sometimes there can be it could be a cultural thing. I'm working with another German brand at the minute, and they're I'd like to actually talk about them someday. Schomburg, who took over the IP of a young German watchmaker called Martin Braun
I know
back.
Martin Brown.
Yeah, of course, everybody. Yeah,
Yes.
and again, an example of a genius who was just a little bit ahead of his time.
Yes.
And look, we will come back and talk about those. But my point, sorry, I'll finish off my point there. My point being in that there's seems to be a kind of a filter between what they're doing and the message getting out there, because some great watches, people don't know about them. So anyway, so the next one that I talked that we looked at, that was the IWC. The next one was, this is another, the Urban Jorgensen reference to prototype. This was another piece that broke out from where it was estimated to be. Estimate originally 40,000 to 80,000.
Yeah.
It sold for 508,000. 508,000.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
1996. It is the classic combination of the triple date, perpetual calendar with day, date, and month, moon phase, and absolutely magnificent. And that's dating back to 1996.
1996.
Yeah, and so it was, and as I said, prototype. So it's movement number 000000. So that is, a real piece of history there, and it's just a stunning looking piece.
It's beautiful. And, it is what it is, and I know that there were all of these outsiders trying to do something which makes sense for themselves, and trying to see that that it's just not Swiss watchmaking which is out there, but there are also different types of watchmakers from different countries who are doing similar or better timepieces. And you see also Urban Jorgensen got I think very recently got a very big push by the film actor Chalamet, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Okay. And also having Kari Voutilainen on board.
Kari Voutilainen, and that already shows the interest for the brand, and also shows what brands are doing to see that these things need to be talked about.
I think Urban Jorgensen was a very astute acquisition, or a very astute move by Kari, because it actually it takes him, it reconnects him with his past. If you're familiar with Kari's kind of design language, you see that the lugs, the teardrop lugs. You see the shape of the hand, the R hand with the
yes.
And these are things that Kari has carried forward into his own brand. And for me, I think it's a very astute move. And the brand is currently has just re-emerged on the market in the last 12 months. And again, there's this flurry of interest in them. So this piece, as I say, estimated between 40 and 80. It sold for 508,000 out there.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's easy to say. It falls out of the mouth. 500,000. It's easy to say. That is a lot of money. For sure.
There's a lot of money for something which actually is a beautiful piece. You know what I mean? And that's
no doubt
what it is. These are emotions, and we talked about it. I think this was one of the craziest auctions whatever happened with watchmaking. So
like we're only skimming the surface here, and these are only a few personal selections, Jay. That the pieces that they're like, there was a record-breaking Patek Philippe setting a new record for Patek. There was you got your Rolex, your Vacherons, your Piagets, your Cartiers, all of these wonderful pieces that we decided. Right, we're going to kind of focus on the what we're doing here with the independents primarily, and so there was, and sometimes with the independents you get quirkiness, a little bit of eccentricity, a little bit of left field thinking, kind of people that would be unemployable.
I am actually very interested in looking at lot 206.
Lot 206. Well, we'll come to that. I'll do it now, and we'll finish up with the one I was just thinking about, because lot 206 again.
That is insane. I mean, look at that. Haldiman.
The H1 Central Flying Tourbillon by Piet Haldiman.
Yes.
I haven't seen enough of Beth Haldeman over the years,
I
but I
haven't.
did meet him and spend time with him on a couple of occasions at events in the early days
Yes.
and in my early days. And Beat, of course, at this stage is a very long established and one of the pioneers of independent watchmaking. But he is also one who very much flies under the radar. He does not, people would not know particularly what Beat Haldeman looks like.
Yeah.
He's not very front of house. He's not
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
keen on projecting his own image.
Yes.
He lets his watches do the talking, and I can tell you, not only does he let his watch do the talking, he created a piece that I will never ever forget, and it was a central tourbillon, but it had a black sapphire crystal,
Oh wow.
so black that you could not see
The
what
tourbillon.
was underneath it. You couldn't see the dial. It was this watch, except, well, maybe not exactly this one, but it wouldn't have been far removed from it, to be honest.
Yes.
With a black sapphire crystal, and it was, there you go, an art piece. Yeah, but as curious and as quirky and as collectible as the black sapphire version was, if I have a Beth Haldeman watch, I want to see that ballet, that mechanical ballet taking place on my wrist, and that is just an absolute. Beth Haldeman remains for me one of my the watchmakers that I love most, and
Yes.
that piece, the H1 Central Flying Tourbillon in platinum case, manufactured in the year 2006, and 39 millimeters. The estimate for it, Jay, was 70 to 140,000. It went for 482,000,
Yes. Not
almost
surprising. Not surprising.
half a million again.
Yeah.
An absolute stunningly beautiful piece,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it does. It's one of those watches that it kind of speaks to you. And I would say a lot of people aren't really familiar with, unless you're crawling the independent forums and you have a real thirst for discovering new names. He's not a new name, but to many people they would have not have seen his pieces before. And for me, that Central Flying Turbo, absolutely outstanding, outstanding. But that leaves us, my young friend, with one of the pieces that whenever they made this watch, they took one look at the rule book and they threw it in the trash can straight away. And we'll go back to 1985, I believe. A Milanese father and son called Dino and Roberto Falcone.
Oh my God.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's been in the
I,
news recently a lot of times. It's been all the watch, communities, all the watch forums. This has been talked about a lot.
it is. How could you not love that piece?
That's such a beautiful,
You
beautiful,
know,
beautiful.
it is. It's chaos, and yet it is
Yes,
absolutely bang on. I think it's
yes,
powered by a Peso 7001.
yeah,
It is features minutes,
yes,
jumping hours,
yes,
days of the week, and the moon phase. And it is an absolutely, as I say, if there was a rule book, they discarded it very quickly. This is just a beautiful piece of expressive watchmaking, and that's very often where I come back to on this, Jay, is that independent watchmaking is very, very often an extension of the personalities behind these creations.
yes,
It is an expressive art form. You'll notice on this image that it's diminutive. It's only 34 millimeters, which is even in today's standard, where trends are falling towards lower or smaller case sizes. 34 millimeter is still pretty small, but the case, it looks chaotic. But if you think about it, everything has to match. The tolerances in watchmaking, Jay, are uncompromising. You cannot have gaps. You cannot have things that don't align or anything like that there. So that piece is where it looks, and we're talking about a watch here. If you're listening, and I'm sorry for not really thinking about you here, but if you're listening to this, the the Dino and Roberto Falcone watch is a kind of like it's. You describe the shape of the case as being nearly like a splat. It's completely asymmetric. There's no symmetry to it at all. And it's got the dial space is similar. It's kind of, would you say, octagonal? It's not even. And it is, so it kind of has a kind of a chaotic look about it. The minute hand takes a mad diversion. There's a big, massive kink in the middle between the center of the dial and the tip of the minute hand. Yet and all, it still points to the exact minute. It would be very easy to become familiar with it, but this is a watch that, to me, it just stood out. And
it blows my mind how they have, just put this together.
This is 1985. This is
1985.
Part of the blurb in the Phillips catalog was saying about how these were already challenging times for independent watchmakers because the quartz tsunami had almost engulfed the whole industry, had it almost put an end to mechanical watchmaking. So the common logic was to think sensible, position yourself
out of the box.
Well, no, I would have said the logical thinking was to make yourself accessible. You go and create something like this, and it's the opposite, but it's also absolutely charming and endearing. And this was one of those pieces, Jay, that again defied the estimates. The estimate was between 60 and 120,000 Swiss francs. It went for 889,000, and how could you not love it?
How could you
not love that watch?
How could you not love this community? This community is what I am talking about. This community has so much to give.
Somebody has got a fabulous, has made a fantastic acquisition.
It is insane how that is. I mean, would you buy a watch like that? Of course you would.
Look, if I was in the match, if I was in the game for that, I would definitely be tempted. But again, bidding wars to get from 60 to 120,000 estimate to almost 900,000 there's an insane bidding war going on there, and it comes a point where logic goes out the window. But then it sets a new benchmark. It says that's what this watch is valued at, and if anyone else is sitting on a Dino and Roberto Falcone, they're going, that's okay. I'll take that. If anybody else is looking for one, they're going, oh, mama.
That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I'm going to have to sell some possessions here to move it around. Jay, we are almost at the hour here, pretty much. It's been a pleasure going over this amazing event with you. Were there any highlights yourself, and that we haven't covered that caught your eye? Or
I mean, I did see a lot of as you said, the Rolexes and Cartiers, Piagets, but my heart really goes towards the independents to see what they have done and what they have achieved more than all of these other big brands, which who are actually keeping watchmaking and the community and the commercial interest very, very alive. But there's always a difference. So you have the best selection for us today. I think we did talk about it in the right way, and gave them the due credits. And I'm very glad that we could do this today. And I'm so happy for you to do that with Dan with the special pocket watches on Thursday.
We are coming back indeed for a part 2, and the part 2 is going to focus exclusively on the historic pocket watches that also were achieving record numbers at the sale at the weekend. So I'm going to be joined by Dan Spitz on Thursday night.
I just want to mention the name Charles Frocham, isn't it? Charles
Frocham, absolutely. There'll be one of those on the, let me see my list for, yes, indeed, lot number 136.
136.
That's coming up on Thursday. And see, I'm doing my homework. So, Jay, listen, it has been an absolute pleasure as ever to...
Thank you, guys. As always, subscribe. As always, look at what we do. As always, organize, and let's go from here. This is fantastic.
Absolutely, it's good fun. And to everybody who has followed us and watched the episode, to watch you, a great friend. Thanks so much for your kind words. Can't tell you how much it means. But folks, tell your friends, let them know we're here, what we're doing. It's real. It's not contrived, and we'd love to build up the eyeballs over a period of time. But so for now, thank you so much, everyone, and we will catch up with you again for part 2 with Dan. And next week again, I'll be back, hopefully, Jay, and we'll shoot the breeze about what's been happening in the interim.